Okay, so here's one more example for finding a line of fit. So before the video started, I actually plotted my points. And remember, for the line of fit, you are trying to touch as many dots as possible. Now, to be honest, this line of fit that I drew right here is probably not the best line of fit. I'm realizing I could have tipped it up a tiny bit more and probably hit those points. But I'm not perfect, so this is the line of fit that I am gonna go with. Okay, so we need to write an equation for this line of fit. Remember, that needs to be a y equals mx plus b equation. Now, we want to figure out what, so let's first start with the slope. So I'm going to choose that dot and let's do this dot. I feel like those are pretty on my line. So that would give me 30, 40, sorry, you can't see that, 30, 45, and 82, 17. Remember, I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that means I'm going to have 17 minus 45 over 82 minus 30. So, because it's Friday and math is difficult, in my opinion, 17 minus 45, we have negative 28 over 82 minus 30, which is 52. Okay, from there, I need to simplify that. Is 52 divided by 4? That would be nice. Yeah, cool. So divided by 4 would give us 13. Negative 28 divided by 4 gives us negative 7. So now I have a slope of negative 7 over 13. Now remember, you can write your slope in two different ways. You can leave it as this in negative 7 over 13, or you could simplify it to the unit rate, which means that we have a 1 in the numerator. So that would mean I have to divide the top and the bottom by this 13. So 13 divided by 13 is 1. Negative 7 divided by 13 is, we'll go 0.5, we'll download around to the nearest hundredth. So 0.54 over 1. Okay, so you can use either of these slopes in your equation. They both will give you the same answer. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to my y equals mx plus b equation, and I'm going to input the information that I know. Now, all I know is my slope, which is negative 7 over 13. Now, here's the tricky part. If you look at my graph, what I'm meaning now is now we need to do the y-intercept, which is where the line crosses the y-intercept. Now this graph is a little tricky because I could just follow, like theoretically you should just be able to follow your line and you would say that that is your y-intercept. However, if you look down here at my graph, I have condensed 0 to 30, oh, I don't know why I said to 33. I have condensed 0 to 27. So that means my y-intercept is going to actually be a little bit different than that. So let me show you how to solve for the y-intercept. So when you have this information and you do not have the y-intercept but you want to solve for it, what you can do is you can take one of your equations and plug them in for your x and your y. So for instance, if I took this 30, 45, and I have this equation, I'm going to input this information. So it would end up being not y, because we know our y, 45 equals negative 7/13 times our x of 30 plus b. Okay, from there we just start solving for b. So negative 7 divided by 13 gets us that. I'm going to multiply that by 30. which gives us 45 equals negative 16 and 16 and 15 hundredths plus b. Now I got to get rid of this, so I'm going to add 16.15, boop, and then you end up with b equals 45 plus 16.15 to get a total of $61.15 for my y-intercept. Now if I come up here to the graph and I look, it looks like I would hit about 57 because I did not, if I did not take into consideration this, no, it's not condensation, this condension, I don't know, the smaller part that I made. So that's why I solved for the y-intercept. So from there, I can now take my y-intercept and my slope and put them in my original equation to get a final equation of y equals negative 7/13 x plus 61.15. So that right there is my equation. Okay, now I need to interpret the slope and the y-intercept. So at the y-intercept, remember that is where my line crosses the y-axis. We decided that is 61 and 15 hundredths. We know that our x represents temperature, and we know that our y represents the number of hot chocolates. Hold on. The table shows the daily high temperature and the number of hot chocolates sold at a coffee shop. Oh, so it's showing you the high temperature outside and whether, if it's hotter outside, are you going to sell more hot chocolate or less hot chocolate? So this is saying when it's when it's 61. Oh my gosh, hold on, my y-intercept is 0. Haha, guess what, I've been telling you all along, or all wrong. This is not the money, boop, just kidding. That right there is the number of hot chocolates. This is why you read your instruction. So, sorry, let's go back to what I was saying. My y-intercept would be 0, 61.15, which, remember, this is not money. This is the temperature. And this is the number of hot chocolates sold. So my new thing, is going to be when it's 0 degrees Fahrenheit, the number of hot chocolates sold is about 61 and 15 hundredths. Okay, now if I were to ask you to round this to the nearest to the nearest whole number, it would be 61. So this is saying that when it's 0 degrees outside, you are going to end up selling more hot chocolates. So now it says predict the number of hot chocolates you would sold when the temperature is 20 degrees. So I have my equation of y equals, and now what I'm going to do is, never mind. I'm going to keep my negative 7/13, and then my x is my temperature, so that would be 20, plus my y-intercept, which is 61 and 15 hundredths. So if I have negative 7/13 multiplied by 20, and then I'm going to add 61/15, you end up getting a y of about, about 50 hot chocolate. Oh, sorry, you can't see my calculator or mirror. So you would get about 50. So if I input this into my, if I solve for my y, you end up with y equals about 50. Sorry, I need to put the about sign. Y is about 50. Remember that is the amount of hot chocolates. Woo! All right. So I know this was tricky, but this is something that you do need to know in order to move on to the 9th grade. Yep, we're in 8th grade now. So if you are still confused, please, please, please make sure that you let me know, and you sign into our class sessions, or you can set up a one-on-one tutoring session with me. All right, I'll talk to you guys in like an hour. Okay, bye.